So, Andrew, as a man established as yourself, you've probably seen some shit. So, share a story about a struggle. Could be from your salad days, could be from any time in your life. Like,
Well, in certain senses, I'm really privileged and I'm really blessed. And in other senses, my whole life has been a struggle because I was always quite good at music. And to be good at something is an incredible opportunity and blessing. It is also often a struggle, depending on how you kind of parse it in yourself.
yeah.
Hang on, got a burp.
Oh, please do. Everybody has gas.
That's true. Well,
Yeah.
where
Like everybody poops.
really?
Yeah, there's a children's book about it.
I'm gonna read it as
Yeah,
soon as I.
Samuel L. Jackson will read it to you.
That'd be even better. Bit of a weird, but he'll be yelling.
But please, go on.
Yeah, I mean, it's why I don't go to get Vegas and gamble. People are like, "Oh, you don't like to gamble?" I don't like to gamble. My whole life is a gamble. Like I've got the biggest stakes on earth, right? Like nothing is certain for me.
Yeah.
And people come, "Oh, I'm bored of my job or whatever else," and I get it. All the golden handcuffs and all the rest of it, and I get it. And then there's me, right? Where if I don't innovate internally every single day, I will fail really fast, right? I run pretty lean, and it's like that struggle is something that I have to work on
Yeah.
every single day. Never cruise, never relax.
Yeah.
Like I'm very lucky because I have tremendous advantages that I can use,
Yeah.
in order to like leverage any success that I manage to create. But I would say that that is my single greatest struggle that has been, and it's self-inflicted. I've chosen that.
You're
Uh,
like a startup entrepreneur. But
anyone who really makes
every
art their life
yeah.
is an entrepreneur, or they're not gonna make anything. I'm gonna say make it, just even survive, right?
Yeah.
Stage one, just survive. If you really have made art and creativity your life, you're out of your mind. You're completely crazy, and you have to do the work that isn't the work all of the time. Most people on earth are doing the work that someone tells them is the work. And then when you are an artist, you are doing the work, which is the artistic work, plus every other part of life that is not your department. You're the department head of your entire operation. It's all you.
Yeah.
If you create an organization and infrastructure around that, great. If you have the business acumen, maybe the upbringing, maybe the self motivation to kind of learn about those things at a young age, wonderful. People are always asking me, what would you tell a young person? What would you tell a young person? I would say, don't think about your talent. That part is automatic. The barrier to entry is being good at what you do. Let's assume that if you really are planning on spending your life in creative arts,
Yeah.
you're plenty good enough to sell your work. And you should spend all the majority of your effort, other than having a good craft, the majority of your effort should be put into learning everything that isn't that.
What do you mean by don't think about your talent?
Your talent is your talent. I don't
Yeah.
like to think that it's innate, but I'm reminded regularly that it is. That
Okay.
your aptitude and your capacity for sort of artistic excellence, a level of excellence that makes people feel something,
Yeah, yeah.
is what it is. And beyond that, yeah, of course you work on your craft, right? You're like the nuts and bolts. How do I do this, or how do I,
Yeah.
whatever. But don't focus on it if you're a young person. Like, I'm so good. I'm so this. Maybe you are, maybe you're not. It doesn't really matter. It's not that that's going to move the needle. Because if you are shit, if you are really crap and you
Yeah.
can't make people feel things, you will find out fast. And it's unlikely that you'll be able to change that. So don't worry about it, is what I mean. Don't worry about that aspect. Assuming that you can, impact people emotionally and they want to hear what you have to say or have to create or express, then you should spend all of the remaining energy on everything else.
How did you so when you talk about it the way you do, in that it's a constant struggle, how do you get through it? Like you have I'm sure you try to stay even keeled, or that's an assumption I have that you would try to stay even keeled, but you've got to have highs and lows. How do you manage both?
Poorly. Like it doesn't go very
I'm
well. A
laughing
lot.
because I love how candid that response is. The candor and that's
It
dope.
doesn't go very
Yeah,
well a
yeah,
lot of the time. Some days I don't have enough work, or I feel like I might not. And because you're talking about your human safety. You're talking about your sense of security as
yeah,
and survival. Like it doesn't take much, but before you're like, oh my God, now what, or something, and thinking like, Plan B. Oh crap, I'm nearly 50. Plan B. Ha ha ha. Right, which is why I joke about the big gamble. And then the flip side of that is that two people call in a day with a movie, or whatever it is, and they're like, "Oh my God, how will I do it? I'll never survive this. I'm completely overwhelmed." Rain and pour. It's the classic conundrum of a self-employed artist.
yeah,
You talk to anyone like me, they'll all tell you a similar story normally. And then it's, how do you run your life? Are you going to make an organization? Are you going to have someone who helps? You can have a business manager. You're going to have, or do you want to do that? Like, it's not just about whether you can do that. It's about, do you want people in your life that way? Often, creative artists, we're not really looking to be in a kind of a traditional work environment.
yeah.
Not necessarily. There's often a part that's quite private. It's like there's an inherent imbalance, I think, in people who perform, or people who give performances, whether it's on a camera, or whether it's on an instrument, or on a TV screen, or whatever. Like,
What's the imbalance?
it's my joke, right? When people say you're a really good singer or something, and I say thank you so much, and they say I wish I could sing like that, and I always say no, you don't, and they go, what do you mean? And I go, well, I think you have to be slightly broken and slightly crazy to sing really well. And they'll be like, what on earth do you mean? And I'm like, well, especially if you sing someone else's song, right?
Yeah.
I can sing someone else's song, and I can make someone cry
Okay.
in a good way.
Yeah, yeah.
But what does it take? What's the cavity in me that has space for somebody else's emotional story to regurgitate it in such a way that it makes someone else, and, like, for example, I can upset a girlfriend by singing a song that is somebody else's, that makes them feel like I mean it.
Yeah. But you get
Happens
a
all the time.
let me ask you this though. But do you get a dopamine kick when you do that? Like do
Well,
you
the act of singing it,
the reaction?
maybe, but it's not the primary driver.
What is the primary driver?
I don't know.
Well, you make the choice of singing the song.
Mhm.
You make the choice of emphasizing certain times when you're singing. Now,
Mhm.
by no means am I going to get the nomenclature right
Mm,
of
mm,
how
mm,
to
mm, mm, mm,
articulate
mm.
when you do what in a song,
Yeah,
but I know how a song can make me feel.
right,
I mean, I viscerally love music.
right,
I don't know enough of the meta details, but
right,
you, as a person singing someone else's song to
right.
a person you can make cry sing it,
Uh-huh.
choose when and what to do with your voice at what times, and that is what creates the emotion. And if you see that person while you're doing it, especially if you see them, you know where you can lean. Like you might hold a note a little longer, right? Those are your choices, but
Right.
you're making those choices. Why are you making those choices? Because
I mean,
you,
I suppose you could shortcut it and just say that obviously, on some level, it makes me feel something positive. Positive could be happy, fulfilled, excited, in control, manipulative. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I have words for what that is.
yeah.
But it must exist. To your point,
Well, I've I don't know if it's a talent. I have moments where I'm able to do a keynote conversation. I'm talking in front of people. And especially if it's a heady topic, I can lean in, especially when it's a subject, and I can get a person to get emotional about it. I don't know where they're going to go with it, but it's meant for them to touch something in themselves because
right?
it does bring joy to release. So if you're making somebody
Maybe it's
cry,
that
I would imagine it's a different type of joy because you're giving them a release. You're giving them almost the it's almost like you're saying, yes,
you're doing
you
it for
can.
them.
Yes, but you do get something out of it.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
You
no.
do.
Okay, so a month and a half ago, a very good friend of mine dropped dead in front of me, right? And we were playing sports. One of my other loves is beach volleyball, right? Funny for a short guy. I say short guy because if you, I'm not that short, but if you looked at my friends who I play with, you'd be like, "That's cool. What are you like, the ball boy or something?"
They
There's
look like Roman gods. Yeah.
6'4", 6'5", like is
Oh,
at an average, and people are like, "That's cool," so they let you play with them. It turns out I win a lot because beach volleyball, you don't necessarily have to be that tall. Anyway, blah blah blah. I'm skillful. Anyhow, this guy, I'd show you a picture. He looked like the quintessential incredible athlete, and he was. And it turns out that he had this problem with his heart, and here he is.
I mean, he's definitely got the arms, man. You
Yeah.
can see the size.
I mean, as a lifelong athlete, he was
Yeah.
like a D1 level baseball guy, and
D1.
the
I don't
college
know the.
college
Oh,
sports
okay.
and the whole thing. And then he was a stuntman here and a crazy hoops player. Like one of the
Oh,
most
he's a
gift.
stuntman.
He used to be many years ago,
Oh,
and one of the most gifted athletes that you can ever come
he was
across.
just one of those people that could move and do some really cool shit, no matter what it was.
Just gifted.
Yeah.
Um, and he dropped dead in front of me, and it was immensely traumatic for me because I associate sports, health, wellness, longevity, not with fragility of life, not with like mortal danger. And it really sent my body into a massive nervous overload. I could not process it. My subconscious was completely in panic, totally in panic for a good 2 weeks. uh, in the initial phase. And still now my sleep is a bit disturbed 6 weeks in, right? And it's been a real journey. I started an organization, this thing, Project BAM, right? Because his name was Brian Anthony Markle, and he always went by BAM. So we created this
Yeah.
Project BAM, and we're out there raising money, and we're providing free CPR training.
I know I went to the
You were
first
there.
memorial
The
event. Yeah.
guy shows up. CPR training, AED awareness, and then our bigger goal is to get AED units into public spaces and into communities and into sports communities. They're portable and they're somewhat affordable. And if you don't know this, now you do. CPR prolongs the period from which a person can have a cardiac arrest to when they receive a life-saving shock, right? And it's the AED unit itself that actually provides the life-saving shock. And that's when you're waiting for the paramedics, you're waiting for that shock. But you don't have to. We can all have plenty of AED units everywhere we are because it's within the first 1 to 3 minutes where it really makes a difference. After that, you're going to start to lose body function, brain function, organs will die, blah, 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 blah. So this is the big mission of the organization. All the way back to when I was really having a tough time. I'm really just starting to normalize now. This is 6 weeks on. Even today, like I'm back to coffee and things like that because stimulants, my body couldn't take it. Imagine my nervous system just set on fire, basically.
Yeah.
Couldn't be put out, had to take some drugs to settle it down, all the kinds of things. But one night I turned around to my girlfriend and I said, I just have to stay in tonight. And she was like, why? I said, because the only thing that will help now is just singing.
Oh,
I just have to sing all night. And I just sat there and sang and sang and cried and sang and cried and sang and cried and cried. And then the next day, I felt like I was on the road to normality.
what'd you sing? Like,
Everything, anything that means something to me, like older songs probably. Just anything that.
what's the name of one song that people would know?
Well, I like really emotional stuff. There's a song called "Wherever I Lay My Hat, That's My Home." Paul Young made it famous, English singer, and other people. It's actually a cover. Paul Young only covered stuff. Uh, Really expressive solo singer, Blue Eyed Soul. I sing a lot of Blue Eyed Soul kind of stuff. Um, and it's whatever that's doing. I just don't know that I can explain the process, but that really helps.
Well, because you bare your soul, I imagine, when you sing.
I suppose so.
I mean, I've never tried singing, but I would imagine if I was, that's what you would have. You'd have to you lose all your inhibitions, which means you're turning your brain off, right? And you're just kind of leading with your heart, right?
Yes, that's all true. If you're doing it right.
If I mean, that's what I would
If
imagine.
you will allow yourself to do it.
That's the thing, allowing yourself.
Most people who say they can't sing just won't allow
They don't
themselves
allow
to see.
themselves.
That's
Yeah.
all it is. It's just, and if you do it from young, you grow a muscle to just not have that inhibition. You're just missing that gene by the time you get older. If you try and do it as an adult, often there's a lot of work trying to undo those inhibitions.
So it's funny you say that, and this is a scene from a movie. I love what movies, pop culture stuff. Jerry Maguire, when he thinks he signed Kush, starts looking for a song on the radio, and he ends up with Tom Petty's "Free Falling," and he's just blaring at the top of his lungs. I mean, I know it's cinematic for the movie, but that's what people will do in times of what they feel is success. Will sing whatever's on the radio and lose their inhibition because they feel like they have a win, but they feel like that's the only time that they can. You know what I mean?
That might be
It's
true.
very
Yeah.
relatable
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
that way because in times of sorrow, you don't think of song, or that wouldn't be my go to. But when you say it, it seems the same as when you want to sing to the stars when you feel like you have a big win in life.
Maybe.
Why wouldn't you when you're feeling a loss
Hmm.
in life? Because the same emotion is able, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm trying to say what I say, but I feel what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
it's very hard for me to get inside of that process because none of us really have words for that
Yeah,
unless
yeah,
you really set about trying to find words for it. And if you did, it'd probably be a bit artificial. Like we're
yeah.
talking about very connected to the deepest parts of ourselves, processes that I just don't know that we can necessarily describe. But yeah, all of the above.
You know who Connor Oberhurst is?
No,
From Bright Eyes. That's the name of the band.
no.
He has a song called True Blue.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, they're kind of an underground band anyway, but this song is underground from the underground. But I heard it from a skateboarder, Dylan Reeder, was at his memorial,
Yeah,
and it's just a wonderful song
yeah.
on so many levels. And when you're talking about this, I'll share it with you, see what you think, just because I'm curious because of your moment.
Mm.
But I will say, when I went to the memorial, one of the things that I did leave with was 30 and 2 because of Gretchen, right? Because she said that, and she was so good at working the crowd. That's your lady.
She's
She said,
so good.
if you don't remember me, I don't care. Just when you see me, let's say we see each other walking on the
What's up,
boardwalk,
Gretch? 30 and 2.
30 and 2, and I was like, fuck, it was
Yeah.
so good how she did that.
Right, but of course, it's not about 30 and 2. What it
No,
is about what she's doing, whether she knows it or not. She's creating an emotional, personal connection between the information that saves lives and the experience that they had. It's actually not 30 and 2 that saves lives. It's the AED. So
okay,
it's so interesting. But if you left that thing knowing 30 and 2, that's the key that unlocks your knowledge, that makes you remember, oh fuck, I need an AED to save this person's life. And I also need you and you to get ready to give chest compressions. And
yep,
I will coach you in real time. And I remember that because of that one key, 30 and 2. That's what it's about. I don't think she even knows that she's doing it. It's just the way that she connects. But
interesting,
for me, I'm pretty sure that's the hook. And music, right? We want a hook. That's her hook.
interesting. So how do you deal with that struggle today? Because it's been how long?
6 weeks or so.
6 weeks.
I mean, time helps.
It
Time
does.
helps. We have a brain that's designed to forget. Thank God. Like our brain, like I always joke, if we didn't, there would only be one child of any two parents. Women would never give birth twice if they could remember.
Have you played volleyball since?
I have. Yeah.
What was the first day like?
Very strange.
You
Very
play the
strange.
same courts?
We have done, yeah. They're all painted and we've got memorials up and all kinds of stuff. It's like that's our spot in Santa Monica. Like that's our turf. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like we're old timers there for 20 years plus. And it's very weird. But me and Matt, who I run the organization with, and our buddy Ahab, we looked at each other. We'd be like, could be tough to find a fourth.
Oh, yeah. As somebody who woke up one morning and found their mother dead suddenly, it's I, I can empathize to some extent, but it's all different. They all are like every
What a shock.
passing, but it is a shock when it
And the shock
happens.
is nothing like that because it's from something to zero,
Yeah,
and something that your brain is so programmed
yeah,
to be on a kind of a repeat program on. The software just goes, that's Neil, that's Brandon, that's just what it is. And if that person suddenly ceases to exist, it blows your fucking mind. That's the problem. It blows your mind up. You're like, because reality is just shaken to the core.
yeah, y- yeah.
you know.
I remember that day to this day
Right.
so vividly. I can feel it,
You can feel it.
and you'll never not, I would imagine, not feel it when you remember it. Um, yeah. I appreciate you sharing, Andrew.
Of course.